Naka-jackpot nga ba ang 𝗪𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 kay Geroge King? Well, sa video na to, pag-uusapan natin kung ang 𝗪𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 ba tama ang kanilang pick para sa import nila this conference si Geroge King. Alam naman natin si Geroge King, former Blackwater import siya, and isa siya talaga sa mga standout imports nung panahon niya, nung naglaro siya dito. Hindi nga lang sa standout we could argue na he is one of the best in terms of kung ano yung level ng scoring prowess niya. And for 𝗪𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵, alam naman natin ang 𝗪𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵, ito yung tipo ng team na they find an import na alam naman ng lahat na hindi fit, tapos eventually papalitan nila, and then yung ipapalit nila medyo fit ng onte pero hindi pa rin sobrang fit, so papalitan ulit nila and they will settle with somebody na parang pwede na yan, ganun, okay na yan. And parang instead of highlighting the strengths of the team, parang mas nagiging handicap pa nga sa kanila having an import. Kaya ang San Miguel lagi, malakas sa all Filipino, pero pagdating ng import conference, medyo mas beatable sila and mas nahuungusan sila ng ibang teams. Laging ito yung weakness ng 𝗪𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 sa import conference. They seem to get imports na parang mapapaisip ka na lang, minsan may Junmar na, bakit kailangan pa ng isa pang big? Pero kasi ang explanation doon, mabilis lang. Ang explanation kasi doon, gusto nila yung double post na strategy na isang Junmar sa poste, isang nakatambay sa dunker spot to minimize health. Gets ko naman. Pero having a guy like Geroge King, kumbaga essentially Arwin Santos spacing, pero yung level of scoring sa posisyon na yon, which is 4, next level Kumbaga yung scoring hindi nagmumula sa 𝗪𝗪𝗏. Well, meron pa din. Pero, kumbaga, meron din silang 𝗪𝗪𝗏 at the 4 position, which is big. And sa game na to, hindi pa nga naglaro si 𝗪𝗪𝗏. Pero meron naman silang Rodman Brondial, who finished the game with 10 points, 25 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, and a block. Pero si Geroge King, ang masasabi ko kay Geroge King, despite 1 out of 1 lang siya from 3, 1 out of 4 from 4, ang naa-add dito ni Geroge King is yung threat or yung scoring sa 4 position, which is pagbalik ni 𝗪𝗪𝗏 would give this team much more spacing and much more versatility offensively. Ang pag-uusapan natin today, yung strategy na ginagawa ng San Miguel, kung saan nilalagay nila si Geroge King and isa pang big man sa pick and roll, sa 2-man game, and having 3 other players space the floor. And now, di ba, with 𝗪𝗪𝗏 sa team, a great or an elite shooter, I should say, ngayon yung spacing ng San Miguel, sobrang kakaiba, parang night and day. And I understand, Benny both right last conference. Ganun din naman, shooter din naman at the 4 position. Pero having Geroge King kasi who can really dribble drive, who can drive, attract defense, and manipulate the pick and roll. Kumbaga ibang version to ng San Miguel dun sa both right San Miguel. And, di ba, to each to its own. The both right San Miguel version is good. Kumbaga mas Junmar oriented siya, pero sobrang elite nung spacer. And ito namang San Miguel na to with Geroge King, I think this is more of a Geroge King San Miguel, and si Junmar yung magte-take away ng help defense, or yung magte-take away, or yung magbibigay kamo ng spacing for their players. So, medyo mouthful of words yun, pero explain ko later. Pag-usapan muna natin yung big-to-big pick and roll na ginagawa ng 𝗪𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵. Makikita natin dito, Geroge King and then 𝗪𝗏𝗏 pick and roll. So now, nag-switch dito ang Macau. Kasi big-to-big yan i-switchin mo na yan. Kasi same size lang din naman. Pero that's a trap. Kasi si Geroge King, he plays the 4, pero kaya niyang i-take off the dribble kahit sinong ilagay mo sa harap niya. Kasi NBA level player pa rin naman yan si Geroge King. So ayun, he took his man off the dribble, went to the basket. And again, the spacing, diba? Isang Jeric dito, isang 𝗪𝗪𝗏 dito, 𝗪𝗏𝗏 can shoot. So ang laki ng floor for Geroge King to really create his own shot. And nandito naman, again, half court, 𝗪𝗏𝗏 will set a screen for Geroge King, and then magre-reset sila. Bago pa makapag-reset, ngayon, nag-off the dribble na drive si Geroge King. Ayan, hesitation, long closeout ngayon from number 11 or long recovery. So now, ang atake ni Geroge King, itong drop defense na to, yung big man na si 𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏 ng Macau. So drop defense, too slow, inatake ni Geroge King off the dribble, kick out to 𝗪𝗪𝗏, 𝗪𝗏𝗏, long closeout, inatake ni 𝗪𝗪𝗏, spin move, and 1. And then dito naman, transition, Rodney Brondial, drag screen, and now, nag-switch ulit ang Macau. So now, there's a bigger defender kay Geroge King and a smaller defender kay Rodney Brondial. So, ang gagawin dito ni Brondial, this is what we call a Gortat screen. So, after mag-set ng screen, ngayon, magsiset ulit siya ng, hindi siya screen pero isi-seal niya yung help defense para pag-drive dito ni Geroge King, si number 11, hindi siya maka-help defense kasi naka-Gortat, naka-seal si Rodney Brondial, making way for the dribble drive. Dito again, big to big screen. Ayan, in-switch ulit ng Macau. So si Isaac Go ng Macau, yung big man nila, mataas yung drop defense after ng switch. So now, inatake ulit ni Geroge King off the dribble. So, kumbaga sa game na to, all game, ang ginawa lang ni Geroge King, he attacked Macau's bigs of the big to big pick and roll. Kaya 1 out of 1 lang siya from 3. Yung force niya, puro catch and shoot yun, or step backs. Kasi Geroge King is a very competent, hindi nga very competent eh, is a really good shot creator. Ilalagay mo siya sa 4, pero kaya niyang iwan yung mga 4, mapa PBA or mapa opposing imports. Kasi sa PBA, pag sinabi mong 4 na import, mga Aaron Fuller yan eh, ganon. Yung mga big man, or mas big man yung laro. Pero having Geroge King, who's naturally a 3, sometimes a 2, papasa pa nga na 2 guard si Geroge King eh, internationally. So, kumbaga mismatch. Kumbaga, this is the Justin Brownley theory na ginawan ko ng video sa aking main channel. This is the Justin Brownley theory, pero gawin mo Geroge King. Diba? He's too fast to be defended by a 4. He's too big to be defended by a 4. And he's also too big to be defended by a 3 or a 2. Kaya niyang i-overpower yung mga local 2s or 3s or even opposing imports na mas, smaller frame pero mas naglalaro ng smaller possession. Kaya niya yung i-overpower. Pero pag nilagay mo naman sa 4 si Geroge King, he can outrun. He can attack laterally yung kapwa 4s. So, adding Junmar to the mix would give Geroge King much more space. Kasi si Junmar, yung respeto na nakukuha niya from the defense is insane. Kumbaga dito, Rodney Bronjal pa nga lang, di ba? Hindi na makalayo yung mga Macau kasi yung offensive rebounding ni Rodney Bronjal, pag iniwan mo siya, is going to get that offensive rebound. Pag naglagay ka ng 2 kay King, so i-switch mo na lang para big to big pa din. Pero binibigay mo naman yung driving lane kay Geroge King. Pero pag gawin mo Junmar Fajardo yan, patayo mo sa dunker spot si Junmar Fajardo, you set a screen maybe from a 𝗂𝗵𝗴𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 inverted ball screen, sabay ghost papunta sa 3-point line. You let Geroge King drive, mag-help ka ba off Junmar na sure ball 2 points kapag dinrop pass? Hindi rin naman. So that adds another layer para sa 𝗪𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵, which makes me excited for the 𝗪𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗵 team. Kasi if every import conference, hindi ako excited sa San Miguel, to be quite honest. Import conference, ang sakit sa mata ng San Miguel kasi laging pinipilit nila yung double post. Laging naglalagay sila ng non-shooting small ball big sa Governor's Cup. And then kapag Commissioner's Cup, naglalagay sila ng isa pang big man alongside Junmar Fajardo, which I don't understand talaga. Like, I do get it, but I don't understand why. 'Di ba? Parang alam mo na yung blueprint eh. Alam mo na yung kung paano pagaganahin tong team na to. You just add the supercharged Arwin Santos na kaya mag-create. That's it, 'di ba? Hindi 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 yun. Hindi yun kung sino man, Justin Patton or kung sino man. So maybe Geroge King, 'di ba? Hopefully, kung maging successful San Miguel this conference, he becomes a resident import pag Governor's Cup for San Miguel. And then pag Commissioners, we can expect Benny Boatwright. Or even if hindi man available si Boatwright, pwede mag-step in si Geroge King for Commissioner's Cup, which makes things interesting. Kasi now with 𝗪𝗀𝗻𝗎𝗍 and now Geroge King, that puts less pressure on 𝗂𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 to create and make decisions for his team. Kasi isa sa mga weakness ng San Miguel, I understand, 𝗂𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 is one of their main guys. Pero yung 𝗂𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 kasi pag ginawa mong point guard na decision maker or even a 2 guard na laging hawak yung bola, doon din nagmumula yung mga problema nila kasi 𝗂𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 is more of a scorer, not a decision maker. Pero if you put the ball to Geroge King or in the hands of Geroge King who will, shot create, make decisions for this team, I think he's a better option for that. And 𝗂𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵, pwede siya maging parang secondary. Ang gagawin na lang ni CJ is to attack closeouts. Kagaya ng isa sa mga plays dito. Like this, kung makikita natin to, di ba? Again, it's a big to big, kumbaga 4-5, 4-5 yan tawag dyan 4-5 pick and roll. Geroge King attacks to the basket, paint touch. Now, ang gagawin na ng 𝗂𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 dito, hindi na siya sobrang magdi-decision making. Pag salo niya, ang raid na lang niya, paanong itsura ng closeout? Long closeout, I will attack. Short closeout, or not enough, I will shoot. Diba? Ganun kasimple na lang yung basketball for CJ. Pero andun pa rin yung 𝗂𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 basketball. So, yun, in-attack niya yung closeout, spin move. 𝗂𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 pa rin siya, pero tinanggal mo na kung ano yung bad side or kung saan nagmumula yung mga bad side, yung mga bad effects or yung bad tendencies ng isang 𝗂𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵. So, I think Geroge King is the right pick for 𝗪𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵, and I hope, diba, mag-work out to kasi iilan na nga lang yung teams na competitive sa PBA. So sana kung yung 8 na yon, including Converge and Rain or Shine, diba, malakas sila. At least we have 8 teams na magko-compete for the top 4 spot, which is, interesting pa din naman. Despite, merong Titan, merong Macau, at least yung 8 na yon, competitive sila.